What a day to be a Mississippi State football fan. The Bulldogs just announced they have officially hired Jeff Lebby as their 36th head coach of the university. Now, Lebby is the current offensive coordinator for the Oklahoma Sooners, and now he will be named the head coach of the Mississippi State Bulldogs at a press conference on campus on Monday. And I must say that this did happen pretty quickly. A lot of fans were concerned about how fast this all happened. So Jeff Arnett, who was the head coach at Mississippi State, he was fired about 2 weeks ago after getting blown out at Texas A&M. And Arnett had only been the head coach for less than one season, taking over for Mike Leach after the coach tragically passed away after the Egg Bowl last year. Well, his replacement did not get a chance to coach in the Egg Bowl this year. Again, he was fired a couple of games before that. And now, here we are just a few days after the last game of the season, a few days after the Egg Bowl, and the Bulldogs already have their next head coach. Now, Lebby brings an impressive resume with him. His current offense in Oklahoma is ranked 4th in the nation, scoring over 41 points a game and averaging over 500 yards of offense a game. Let's put that into perspective. If you're a Mississippi State football fan, you just had to suffer through a season that saw very little to no offense. I mean, can you imagine a team that scores over 41 points a game, the cowbells inside Davis Wade Stadium, how loud they're going to be, how annoying they're going to be for the opposing team? I mean, Bulldog fans, you guys, and we don't need headphones. We're used to the cowbells. But for the other team, Bulldog team that scores over 40 points a game, yeah, you better bring your earplugs because you will go home with your heads ringing. Not only will he bring a high-powered offense, he may also bring some high-powered recruits. One of the things Bulldog fans have constantly been bothered by, the fact that their rival, Ole Miss, the University of Mississippi, is constantly getting high-profile wide receivers, the top wide receivers out of the state every year. I mean, who can forget A.J. Brown, the NFL superstar right now? That kid is from Starkville, Mississippi, where Mississippi State is located, and he went and played his college football at the University of Mississippi. Yeah, ripped the heart out of Bulldog fans when that happened, and they're hoping that it doesn't happen again this year. So a kid by the name of Braylon Burnside, he plays for Starkville High School right now. As a matter of fact, I was doing sideline reporting for the Starkville High School North State Championship game this past Friday against Madison Central, and when the team needed touchdowns, back-to-back plays, they went to Burnside, and he scored on back-to-back plays. So that's the type of offensive weapon he can be, and the Bulldog faithful will love to get him and to keep him in Starkville, but it's really going to depend, and maybe this new offense may be a reason that he stays, that Jeff Lebby is going to be bringing with him. That's just something that we're going to have to see. We know that Lebby is an offensive-minded coach, but as far as the defensive side of the ball, Mississippi State, they have had a strong history of producing NFL caliber defensive players. I mean, you have Fletcher Cox in the NFL right now, Willie Gay, Chris Jones, just to name a few, Montez Sweat. I remember when Dan Mullen was hired, and I asked Mullen, who was coming in as an offensive-minded coach, I was like, Bulldog defense is what the school has been known for traditionally. And he said that he was going to make sure the defense still stayed tough like they had always been, and they did. And we all know the success that Dan Mullen had as the head coach of Mississippi State. An offensive-minded coach playing or coaching at a team that traditionally always has a great defense could be a pretty good recipe. It was a few years ago when Dan Mullen had the team. So let's talk some more about Lebby's background. Like I said earlier, he is currently the offensive coordinator for the Oklahoma Sooners, and he's also been the offensive coordinator for UCF, University of Central Florida, and the Ole Miss Rebels, the hated rival of the Mississippi State Bulldogs. So that should be very interesting to see the Egg Bowl, where you have Jeff Lebby going up against his former boss in Lane Kiffin. That should be pretty exciting for fans. Lane Kiffin has already tweeted out some images of Lebby sporting Rebel gear. Mississippi State fans weren't too happy to see that, but I'm pretty sure if Lebby wins some Egg Bowls, they'll all will be forgiven. If he wins some games and he's a good coach, all will be forgiven. So how did the Bulldogs get to Lebby? Mississippi State's new athletic director, Zach Selman, made it clear that his priority in this coaching search was to find someone who was a winner, had a proven track record of success, and let's just say that Lebby definitely checks all the boxes there. However, there will definitely be some questions about whether or not Lebby will be able to build a roster. That is something that he hasn't had to do at all in his career in Mississippi State. They're not going to a bowl game this year for the first time in over a decade, and they are losing some significant players, especially on the defensive side of the ball, some seniors that have been with the team some 5 and 6 years. So they will definitely be losing a lot of veteran leadership and experience on that football team. But hopefully the new head coach can recruit well and get into that NIL and into that portal and bring in some talented players that can help the Bulldogs be successful on the football field next season. So as we get ready to look ahead and see what's next for Mississippi State athletics, we can't help but reflect on the last year. As I said earlier, it was shortly after the Egg Bowl last season that beloved head coach Mike Leach passed away. And shortly after that, Zach Arnett was named the head coach of the Bulldogs. Arnett was Leach's defensive coordinator. He did a fantastic job of taking over the team when the team needed a leader the most. And Bulldog fans cannot be more thankful and grateful for Arnett and the job that he did leading the young men through a difficult time in their lives, losing their head coach, so many changes. But unfortunately, when it comes to college football, the name of the game is winning, and Arnett was not able to get enough wins, and the team did not seem to be improving much under his leadership, so changes were made. Now we are looking forward to what the next era of Mississippi State athletics will look like under Zach Selman, the new athletic director, and what the next few years of Mississippi State football will look like under the leadership of Jeff Lebby. I must say, did not know much about Jeff Lebby before this hire, and now I am excited to see what the future holds for the Mississippi State Bulldogs, for my Mississippi State Bulldogs. I plan on doing many more of these podcasts throughout the year, and I'm looking forward to the press conference tomorrow to see what the new head coach has to say and definitely see how he rings his cowbell, because as we know, you got to be able to ring it right. Clanker, clanker. All right, so that's going to do it for the Hunter's Eyes podcast, sports as seen through Hunter's Eyes. We're going to have much more on this Mississippi State coaching change and the Bulldogs' future in football, basketball, all-around athletics on this channel in the future. So make sure you click, like, subscribe, and comment, and so we can keep it going and grow this page so I can continue to bring you the latest Mississippi State football content.